Yo, you tuning into the Notion Podcast. This your boy Dizzy D Spill with my co-host in the building,
Jelani Evans.
Farmer Poe.
How y'all doing, brothers?
Good. How about you?
That's all he had.
All right, y'all tune in until next week.
We'll be here again. All right. See you next.
I'm maintaining. I can't complain. Finally got some downtime, bro. Like, I've been working on shoes and painting and whatnot, like, the last 2 weeks, easy.
Okay.
So I finally got some downtime. I ain't working on no shoes, and it was nice.
I feel that. I know that Kicks and Sneakers hoodie is going crazy.
Oh, yeah.
That's nice.
A little something. I actually met with my production yesterday.
Okay.
I was putting that out. I just haven't.
Okay.
I seen that nigga. So,
And Poe, I see you. You know, real whimsical and shit.
Yeah, man. You know, a little different. You know.
Tell us about this style right here, man. That you've been you've been posting some posts lately. You know what I mean, in the garden, but you've been having, you know, the satchel and the, you know what I'm saying, this unique. It's like, is it abstract? Is it?
It's a little, you know, mixture of few things. But
where you get these hats from?
I'm really hats. The last few honestly been from Urban Outfitters, but online. They got a few of them online. That's
okay.
Pretty dope. But you know, I gotta let the people. You know, sometimes they don't get to reach out and touch you. So I want to, you know, show the people that I'm still here. Mm-hmm. So, you know, posting a few times for them to reach out and see me. You know, get a little bit of see me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Bask in the glory and
shut
you know
the garden.
See.
Yeah, I've been noticing, man, you've been speaking out loud without speaking, you know what I'm saying, with the style and the photos and stuff. I didn't know if it was some inspiration.
Oh, you styling on them.
Yeah, you just mad because I'm styling on
Just a little bit, trying to make a new little, you know, at first it was everything low for a few years. Mm-hmm. So now I'm kind of switching it up, coming up with a little bit of style of my own kind of.
Okay.
So.
You been getting any reviews, any compliments like, oh, what's this? What's going on? Where you get that? And
yeah.
Okay.
Often.
It's the hats.
Often.
I'm telling you.
Oh, the hats.
Often.
I've seen some hat comments like, where'd you get your hat? I have seen that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
I try to get items that are
unique,
hand-knitted, unique, things that people don't necessarily.
Who made this?
This is from Minimal. It's a LA brand. And I like colors, blending colors, but not being too loud.
I think it's called minimal because it's to the max.
Right. If you could see it,
you kind of giving this Shep style from Above the Rim a little bit, kind of.
What's crazy? I just had Jaheim watch Above the Rim 2 days ago.
What do you think about it?
I wanted him to see the players and the attitude.
That's your granddad. No, I'm playing.
He liked it. We're gonna watch Sunset Park. He got game, all of that. So
okay, so you educating him.
Yeah.
All right. You gotta make him watch Coach Carter too.
Oh, that's another one. That's another one. I didn't think about that. But it's not as classic as the other ones I named.
It ain't.
It's still a good one to watch because
that's what they made it. Held it down for the Bay though.
It's Northern California.
They held it down for the Bay, right? Yeah. A lot of the movies you just named was the East Coast base.
That's true.
Right? You gotta have some. Yeah. You gotta. I mean, unless it's White Man Can't Jump, I think that was West Coast.
If you didn't know better, the way they was talking in that movie, they sounded like they was from New York.
Yeah.
They was talking like that.
Yeah, right.
That's what I'm looking like.
Look, look.
I don't know.
This shirt, when you buy it, it comes with gold thread in it also. So it was a lot more shimmier and shinier. So it took me like an hour to use a tweezer, and I pulled you might can see a few of them.
Why'd you take the gold out?
Bro, it was looking a little too glittery.
Oh, you was zesty.
I wasn't trying to.
It was looking zesty.
Yeah, man. I don't partake. I got kids, multiple, several.
So ain't anybody gonna question it? Just
plural.
Yeah.
Nah, because I go to Azul's a lot. I go to Azul's a lot, man. You know, Azul's is
glistening and whatnot.
It's over there. So
I mean, I don't think anybody would have gave you any shit, man.
I would have.
Nah, I would have got you. I didn't want.
My bad.
I wasn't looking for attention. I wasn't looking for attention. If you know,
you would have got it.
Yeah.
You know
where Azul's is at?
Spotlight.
Yeah.
The Mexican spot.
Yeah.
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 Raz Azul's. Yeah, I know about it. Yeah, for sure.
The guy who took over Gotham. Yeah. Duh.
Who does it, right?
Nah,
Any updates
Living
in your lanes? Any updates from your lanes?
yeah. Shameless plug. November 12th, we'll be doing a vending event. Afro Soco. Gonna be vending there.
Okay.
Where is it?
The location I am forgetting. So I will be back with more information for the people.
I love this guy.
But I didn't do the sign up. This is through Mystic Bonita.
Okay.
So we're gonna add Earth Tones, which is our brand, into that.
Okay. Hey man, she did her thing in Black Adam, by the way. And when you go see it, you don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Because me and the wife was like, I know that ain't Bonita. Hey, I'm talking about her style. You'll understand.
Okay.
I'm sorry, y'all. Inside joke. But go ahead,
have to watch
Jelani,
it.
brother.
Oh, I thought he was still talking.
Oh yeah, no,
He don't know the location, so that's it.
It's in Sacramento.
Bruh.
Cutting this mic off. Go ahead.
Yeah, so just so y'all know, I got something going on. Follow up next week. Like, what? Why even? Like, you know.
Look,
We said in the last podcast posted, he's not his own point of contact. So
I'm not.
yeah, he was not lying, obviously.
I said that. that's the bad
Yeah,
part.
you're right. You said it.
If you
and
got
he agreed.
Instagram, if you're on live right now, go to your little search thing, the little circle.
Yeah,
thing,
leave the live.
and then
Guy's an idiot, bro. Anyways, what?
What's happening?
after this, remember to go to.
Just stop. Just stop. God, this guy, man.
What's new with y'all, man?
Yeah, she was coming out. So,
Where at?
actually got some news on
Okay.
Nike and Adidas and everywhere else. There's all type of stuff going on. But actually, Nike's actually just unveiled their Dornbecker Freestyle Collection, number 18, so 2023. So
Okay.
next year for the spring. So it's a spring 2023 collection.
Okay.
For those who don't know, Dornbecker Hospital is a academic teaching children's hospital associated with Oregon Health and Science University, located in Portland, Oregon, and established in 1926. Each year, a small group of the Dornbecker patients teams up with Nike employee design volunteers to create inspiring footwear, apparel, and equipment designs. So that's what that's all about. This year's models are the Huarache, Air Presto, Air Jordan 1 Low, Air Max 90, the Nike Air Foamposite, and the Nike Zoom Vomero 5. It's weird, but yeah.
Well,
And then it's like, of course, because all the kids have conditions, the shoes are designed speaking to their strengths and things that they've overcome, and you know what I'm saying, things that they favor and like. So it's actually kind of interesting. I advise everybody to do more research just to follow up and get more information. I'm only going to keep it short so that you guys have to do more research. You feel me? And then there's a Nike SB Dunk Low releasing on November 4th called Why So Sad. And yeah, by John Rattray, who is a skateboarder and an advocate for mental health awareness. The shoe was designed to help open up the conversation about suicide prevention and skateboard, and of course everywhere else. A portion of the proceeds from the sales plus art by John Horner will go directly to the Why So Sad fundraising efforts.
okay.
So I thought that was kind of dope. You feel me? Like
Yeah, that is.
something releasing with a cause instead of just kicks dropping.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
because
what I'm
we were
saying?
just talking about last week about the lack of creativity or any kind
Meaning and
of
just
Yeah.
substance, just shit dropping left and right just because flooding the market. Yeah. And then you know, this is kind of personal. So shout out to the Air Force One celebrating the 40th anniversary. It was designed and released in 1982 by Bruce Kilgore. So there's a lot of different designs and little added things to the Air Forces that are releasing just to kind of celebrate that. So check it out. Like tags, emboss on the hill, just a lot of different things. You know what I'm saying? Quality materials. So
All right.
check those out. That's pretty much it, though. That's all I really got.
Okay.
Yeah, that's some solid news, man. That's the stuff that doesn't get put at the forefront. You know what I'm saying? As far as like the positive, it's more so what's attractive and like, the hype.
Well,
Stuff
I
like
mean, like there was also a Air Jordan 2 that was designed and being released to kind of give a it kind of shine a light on the water situation in Flint.
They got a preview or a model out.
It might have dropped, honestly. So many Jordan 2s
It's crazy how that's been going on for that long.
have dropped as of late.
Right.
When that was that 2018?
I don't know why I feel like it was even before that.
It might have been. That's horrible.
Yeah, and I've heard like different people like step in and try to do things like Jaden Smith, and so people are trying to help, but it's just like still an issue.
And are the same politicians in place who are in charge of that, who were in charge of that.
Are they asking if they are,
Yeah,
or
I thought there was
I'm not
at least
sure.
some charges or something brought up or something.
Okay.
Accountability.
So,
Yeah.
218 Air Jordan 2, it released on October 14th at 218 in Detroit. And basically, it was designed like the sole had like from brown to clear to signify the water and everything like that.
Okay.
I don't know how much awareness was raised behind it because I don't feel the message behind the shoe was amplified or expressed the way it should have been.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And because if you think about it, it was kind of lumped in with everything else. There were so many Air Jordan 2s and Jordan 2 lows that were
stand out.
releasing that exactly, it didn't really stand out. It was like this Jordan 2 is releasing, and there's a collab with a Jordan 2 high and a low, and then there's another low releasing, and then there's another low releasing, and then there's another low. And actually, there was like three lows releasing in like a stretch, like maybe a week. And then if you think about all the other releases going on as well,
Right.
if it's not being highlighted and if the message isn't really being portrayed the way that it needs to be,
Right.
and I mean, like, there should be like fundraising to go with it, a portion of the proceeds, like we talked about with the Why So Sad dunk. And so, and just the message just didn't get out the right way. So it just kind of went unnoticed, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I feel like the situation is a lot bigger though, as far as with the water, because it's like, it's the plumbing, it's the piping, it's right. So that's something where we talk about how many city blocks, how big of an area.
Yeah, that radius is crazy.
You see, you know what I'm saying? Like, how big of a radius are we talking about with this water issue? So then once you focus on how big the radius is, and you're talking about months and months of plumbing and piping that needs to be changed. And, you know what I'm saying?
A one-day job.
Not at all. And it is, the excuse can't be, well, they would go without water because they're already going without water.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it just, I don't know. It raises a lot of questions as to why nothing has been done. Why isn't anything happening? And then what happens to those who try to put forth their efforts? Like, what happens? What's roadblocking them? Because whatever it is that's
what it is,
roadblocking them, then maybe that's what needs to be addressed so that, changes can be made. Because if that's what's roadblocking them, maybe that's the same thing that's roadblocking the city.
Yeah, because it can't necessarily be money because I'm sure they've gotten so much fundraising that there's like, what is the money that's being funded going towards us?
I mean, is it any money being funded? Like, I mean, can you look it up right now and grab my phone? Can I just like I want to see if it's that
absolutely
easy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
do they have a GoFundMe? Do they have
from a personal opinion, and this is why I guess I'm not in politics. It always seems like it's easy just by how money is distributed in this country and from this country, right? If there's a certain area that needs aid, but we're aiding other countries, millions and billions of dollars sounds pretty easy to me. right? But whatever analytics, because I mean, I know that there's sometimes immigrants get funding that come over to this country. You know, whatever that agreement is, whatever that relationship is. So there's funding somewhere. It's, the question is it easy to do that for whatever benefits are coming from giving this funding versus other areas, right? If they don't feel like it's beneficial to invest in the hood or invest in certain areas because they don't feel like they're going to get the kickback that they want or the kickback they deserve, they're not going to invest in those areas. So I feel like there's always another side to it.
Or do you not invest in those areas so that the value of that area goes down? But what it
I mean, there's that part
so
too.
you
Not
can go
investing in
come
the
in
area.
and divide it up.
Yeah, there's that. That continues to happen. Gentrification. Yeah.
So what you find?
Oh, my fault. I'm a little frustrated. Well, because like I'm reading, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I found a lot of information, but what I found, like talking about the water, and I found, somewhere where you can donate, right? Fundraising or raising funds. And it says all funds raised through the Flint Water Fund are for the
water
purchase and distribution of bottled water
What'd I
filtration
say?
devices not supplied by the state of Michigan and health
What did I
access for children affected by lead.
That was why I asked the question, because I thought of that. I was going to say, all I could think of is them going to get water bottles, because if once you said that, it's like, okay, what's the roadblock? Then, all right, they're giving money. Somebody's giving some type of money, no matter how little the amount is. Are they going and adding it to a fund that will help solve whatever the issue is? Or are they just going and getting a temporary aid, which would be water bottles?
See,
So they've been using water bottles for
the type of thing that pops in my head, right, is like, let's just say I'm a big time investor, and then Poe's like, yo, I want to put on this, I want to do this thing called Garden Fest, and I'm gonna cook all of this different organic food and this, that, and the other, right? I'm gonna use all fresh food. I'm gonna need about 10 grand, right? I give you the 10 grand, and you go get, like, I don't know, 100 hot and readies, right, for the event. What happens to the rest of that money? You see what I'm saying?
Much water bottles.
So that's the hard part about me donating to a fund sometimes.
Did you count the gas to go get the hot and readies?
Mm-hmm.
First.
Okay.
Napkins.
They better not charge for no goddamn napkins, man.
Huh?
They better not charge for no napkins.
But see, this
Not my establishment.
what I like what he's doing is this is how people do clean that up. Like, they're gonna nickel and dime every single thing they have to spend to make you get close to that, knowing that they didn't spend that, right? Tablecloths, breath mints,
Tables and chairs for the people.
yeah,
You know
what I
what
mean.
I'm
But that's how I feel about funding. Like, a lot of people get the money.
Sound system. It was a beat spill. Like, really?
No, they will break it down like that.
They'll break it down like that, but they didn't use, like, half of the stuff that they're writing off. They probably brought, used, and they're pocketing the rest of the money. That's my perspective on when funding happens and then nothing happens with the funding. Just like, was it 2020 when everything happened behind the George Floyd stuff, right? So many companies came out and said, we're donating $100 million for this. We're donating $50 million for that. Now, check this out, right? This is what I learned when I went to the summit for the Black Chamber of Commerce. I sat down with this lady, and this white lady, she broke it down, and she was like, yeah, they're doing all these different programs because what happened is people's books started getting checked. You said you were going to donate $100 million, but we don't see anywhere on your books, you know what I'm saying, where you've donated this money for this cause.
Books, I donated it.
Exactly. It should be in your books.
Huh?
So you see what I'm saying? Like, I think it's almost like there needs to be probably a task force of people going out there and like, hey, man, we need to. So what happened? Remember you said this?
Checks and balances.
Yeah, what'd you do? What'd you do with it? Like with Amazon, I kind of seen what they did with it, but to me, I'm not really a fan of it because I actually tried to see about the Black Business Accelerator. It just didn't seem beneficial for me. but they have a program in place. You know, and they got Issa Rae promoting it. That and
Yeah, that shit's ass.
yeah. Oh yeah, you looked into it too.
Yeah, bro. No,
Yeah.
you're not gonna do that to me.
If you're giving all them damn PPP loans, man.
Oh yeah, they people coming back for their bread now. You hear it, you see it. EDD, all of them. EDD, PPP.
No, the PPP,
if it rhymes,
they are forgiving people.
He said EDD,
Apparently.
PPP,
I would
OPP.
know.
yeah,
all of that.
it all rhymes.
You know,
I mean,
you owe
people-
me.
Some people are getting forgiven, and there's some people is like,
I'm cool.
nah, we got to get you.
I wasn't gonna gamble with that.
Yeah, I didn't. That scared
You
me.
want to know what's crazy?
What's up?
We could have, and it wouldn't have been a gamble. We actually have businesses, so we could have did that, and we could have benefited from it, and then we could have actually been forgiven.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
it didn't seem right because everybody was doing it and they were illegal. So
Yeah, I
it
just didn't want the
seemed
spot
like-
hot to be for me, and I'm actually the person that's really doing it. And it's like, nah, you kick it with them.
I don't even know them. Will they be on your block? The liquor store on the backside? I don't. What?
Yeah.
So, guilty by association. Yeah,
Definitely.
You know, Leroy now.
So, the blind leading the blind, man. There's a lot in the media right now. There's a lot that people are talking about. How do you feel about media today, and what's real, what's fake, what's he say, she say? How do you guys decipher what's true? What sites do you don't have to actually say the sites if you don't want to, but how do you fact check sources, information that you come across, second guess things? Because it just seems like people believe the headline without reading the story, and then you have a million narratives out there, and then you have a whole bunch of people debating over something that never happened or something that was misinterpreted. Obviously, there's been a lot in the news regarding Ye, which we talked about on the last episode, but just not even that, just whether it's sports, whether it's all of these different things, we have an overload of information, but not an overload of facts. So, I mean,
Very true. How do we navigate that?
how do we navigate it? What do you think about it? I mean, you're coming off of, you're a person that would rather read than watch videos, which is very rare in this day and time. And you, sir, you know, have a degree in journalism. You know what I'm saying? So those are two heavy perspectives, you know, about the kind of content we're consuming and the kind of content being advertised to us.
Kind of content they're consuming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's just depending on, how do I do it, or obtain information or come to a, I guess, educated guess
Okay.
or on any given topic or whatever. It's depending on who I watch and who I trust on their judgment and their information to kind of obtain like bits and pieces of information that I may not be knowledgeable about. I am reluctant to just totally just believe anything or anyone's perspective, because that's what what media is now, is a perspective. It's less of fact checking, because information is being delivered and received right away. So there's no way to necessarily fact check that right away. So what I tend to do, I like to watch the podcast where there's a production team where someone will be discussing a topic, and they'll have a point man who goes on there and may look up the information or go to several different sites to obtain the information, because that's what everyone's doing now anyway. That's what,
So everybody's just copying Jelani, but go ahead.
I mean, you basically, but because no one's really reading the newspaper. That
Oh, God, I
takes
hope
a
not.
lot of time. Although that would be the most trustworthy information to review.
So our parents'
think so?
generation, yeah.
I would trust a newspaper article's fact checking more than someone else, than just the average Joe Schmo. And the reason I'm saying that is because typically you're going to have a source, and although you could have a source that's spewing negative information or like false information. But the fact is that you're going to typically go and have several different sources who are somehow tied to the situation or has some sort of relation to whatever topic it may be. An old sports athlete, and you're writing an article about their high school or whatever. But typically you're going to have sources that have some relation to that topic or whatever you're writing about. Nowadays, people are going on the internet and just looking for their sources, which could be anything. Someone who has no direct like relation to the actual scenario.
I get what you mean, because it's like kind of like LA Times, New York Times. Usually when they say something that happened, if somebody like passes away or something happened to somebody in some kind of way, it usually says they confirm it, and then the news stations confirm it, and then so on.
And then you have an editor, and although that when you write your article, you're going to have an editor who's going to go through and they're going to say, hey, you quoted this maybe incorrectly, or they'll be the one to do all the red marks on your article. And then you can review that. They can change, like they can tell you to take things out. They can tell you they want more information. They can kind of affect the article in a sense. But there's a checks and balances system that's been in place for decades when it comes to like newspapers. Nowadays, people are just
consuming whatever's in their
internet
face.
sleuths most of the time. There is an art to it, and there are people who are good at it because they have sources, people who they can trust and get information from. But typically, we're just having a long form conversation unless you're interviewing a professional or someone. Yeah, that's
Okay.
So yeah, that's how I view the landscape now. I enjoy the new form of media. I watch a lot of podcasts.
I feel like that's what most podcasts are. It's a media perspective on this is what I think, versus the traditional of this is what happened, this is what it is, not what your opinion.
Right, because like Lex Friedman, I watch a lot of Lex Friedman when when he's interviewing maybe a specific scientist or someone who's in a certain field, or they're talking about a certain topic. I watch him a lot. He is he is a scientist himself. So I don't have a lot of time to read, so I would enjoy hearing people just discuss the topic anyway, because that's my main goal, as to whether I become totally knowledgeable about anything or not. I just like the conversation.
Okay.
So hearing people discuss the topic, whether they are fully knowledgeable about it or not, that's what I enjoy. Yeah. So yourself.
I mean, honestly, I feel all general media outlets and most of the social media news and outlets, all that shit's biased. 100%. You feel me? And I say that because if you pay attention to a lot of, let's say, news on TV, a lot of different news outlets, channels and everything, they report a lot of stuff, right? But they all seem to report a lot of the same stuff. It doesn't seem to vary. There's no variety. And a lot of it seems to perpetuate fear, death, right? Things of that nature, a lot of negatives. How much happy, uplifting, good news type of things do you see on the news? You don't, right?
You don't.
Because the news and the newspaper are totally different, especially now. They're totally different.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about newspaper. That's why I say I'm talking about news outlets as far as TV. That's
For
why
sure.
I say like, and then when you turn over to social media, because unfortunately a lot of people see and follow certain outlets for news on social media, and the issue with that is there is no fact check. A lot of times it's more about being first instead of about being right. So because of that, you'll get this information. You'll get it first. And then later on, you'll get the truth.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And so you have one source that is only perpetuate negative to keep you in a certain state of mind. And then you have another source perpetuating BS because they don't have the facts.
Right.
So I don't really look to either one of those for my sources, honestly. I'm on the internet a lot, but with that, it's a lot of reading different articles. So I'll give you an example. So let's say sneakers, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so I'll hit up like Sneaker News, Sneaker Bar Detroit, Nice Kicks, Sneaker Freaker Mag. I'll hit up a lot of different sites to read about the same shoes, right? And then also check release dates, right? And so I might see the same 2 release dates here and then 3 different ones over here, right? And I see an article that's speaking on something over here and it's speaking on it over here, but there's certain information here and there's certain information there. And so then it's almost like gathering information and then coming to some type of medium with what all is what all lines up and what makes sense, right? On the same breath, like Spell will tell you, I'm a whiz at researching and like finding specific things. My keyword game is kind of crazy. And so I like to read. I enjoy reading. I don't have a problem reading articles, especially online. Like that's kind of my go-to. So that's how I find a lot of information. That's how I get a lot of my sources. And then on the same breath, like I'll pick up a book. I have no problem going to the libraries. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's been lost on a lot of people actually reading. It's funny because they say if you want to hide something, put it in a book, right?
Right.
Like ask somebody like, what was the last book you read? And they're like, huh? I ain't read a book since
Cat in the Hat.
Yes. For me, that time was taken away from me because my peace time to read was traveling. So riding the light rail, riding the bus.
Yeah.
You can still hop on the light rail you want to.
I can, but I don't have. That's not my ability for my schedule now.
Oh, I got you.
You know what I'm saying? Like there was a time when I was
you got
even
responsibilities.
working. I had a car and I was still riding the light rail, but my stop was like 2 stops away, so my reading time was very short.
I got you.
But I love to read. It's just I don't have the time no more, and it sucks.
And then like like I don't know, as far as I don't really do too much podcasting. I listen to a couple of podcasters. I watch a couple of YouTubers and things like that. But they have to have validity behind them, and
Yes, they do.
So what I mean is like some type of, I would prefer degree, certification, publications.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Things that speak to them having research and doing things outside of what it is that they have going on to show that they have put in the time in it.
Some kind of expertise in what they're talking about.
To some degree, to some extent. And even if it's experience, expertise, because that can account for a lot more than just having a certification and actually never being in the field in some instances, right?
And you can kind of gauge it gives you a better ability to gauge like what may be true or not, because you can see someone who has the experience and compare it to someone who has the knowledge, and maybe you can meet somehow in the middle.
Yeah.
Sometimes, but see, a lot of in certain cases, that's where the disconnect comes in, because you speaking from having the knowledge because I read the book and I have the degree, and then I was out here in the field, so I am speaking from real time. While you are talking about a book that can be outdated by 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
Depending on what the subject matter is.
Yeah.
But on the same breath, depending on how things are moving, what the topic is, you feel me, real time can count for a lot more, even if we're talking about from one week to another. Let's talk about stocks, right? From 1 week to another, real time counts for a lot more than like, well, I've studied, I've done the research, and when you look at the graphs. Shut up, bro. I just made 3 racks while you was looking at graphs. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so that matters. You know what I'm saying? And so having that understanding and people who are valid and have the experience behind them, that counts for a lot more. that makes them a lot more valid on what it is that they're speaking on. So there is a certain level of trust that can be established in that. And then on the same breath, if I question anything, then I'm fact checking. I'll research, what does this mean? What is this? Because when you're speaking on certain things, facts are facts. And regardless of whatever topic you're talking about, there's facts regarding that topic
And
that you can't argue. That's just what it is. You can argue how you feel about those facts, but they're facts.
Yeah, they're still the facts.
And if you're kind of really actually interested in whatever it is you're discussing, whatever the topic is, when you go and do the research, to me, I'm just very curious and inquisitive. So I'm gonna go research it, not because I want to actually like study it, because I'm like curious. I want to know more.
But see, and that's the thing about it. A lot of people aren't curious. They're taking things at face value. They're just taking what it is. That's why it's like blind leading the blind. Because if you have a social media outlet that isn't doing the research, just as soon as they hear some information or get a hold of it, they put it out. And you have somebody following them, and they're taking that information, and now they're sitting out here and they're standing on that. They're like, yeah, such and such. Well, I know because I follow, and I got it from the shade room, and the shade room said,
Well, that
you know
I
what I'm
think
saying?
that's a
And-
human fault of confirmation bias, is because we
place too much faith in social media.
Nah.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, yes. To answer that question, yes, but to elaborate on my statement is when there.
For those that don't know, what is confirmation bias?
Confirmation bias is where, because you will confirming something based on a bias that you have regarding whoever is delivering the information, the source of information, basically, is your confirmation bias. So if your parents say
Jelani
something,
said it, so I believe it's true.
Post said I can grow red grapes. I believe it.
so
Be a
humans,
farmer.
our parents were our first part of like the confirmation bias. Whatever
Absolutely.
the parents say,
My
is
mom said this, so it's true.
And then
100%.
you had the like churches, so the priest, the pastor, the
Well, no.
those were another level of confirmation bias, right?
Yeah,
And
that
then
is.
that moved into, we have this.
So basically,
we have
your
electricity.
your authoritative figures in your life.
Not just that. We have radio. So, or even just people in positions of power, and then you have radio.
Yeah.
And then
I wouldn't
if-
even
if-
say
if-
positions of power in some cases. It's people that you, in some way, some sense, confide in.
Authoritative.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true.
Trust in. Because the thing about it is, like, so let's say you tell me something, right? And then I have an argument with somebody else. I'm like, but Poe told me, and I know he do with whoop, and that's my nigga. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
And so that would be
Yeah.
confirmation bias because,
Yeah.
you know, so.
But tip on a little bit of difference in that is that you know that person, so we have more experience with that person's behavior and their character to kind of gauge on whether I'm going to believe what that person said, whether they're here right now. What I mean with humans is we could look at hear somebody that's on the radio before there was television. We're going to believe what's coming off of the radio. We're going to believe the policeman. We're going to believe what's coming off the TV. And then we're going to
Because of
believe
their
whatever
position.
on social media. So it's going to move to some other level, whatever level of civilization we end up being in. There's going to be something that's going to be the, I guess, boogeyman in that sense.
I agree. I think that from what I see, when you're dealing with social media, because that's just, nothing is beating that right now.
Nah.
Because what you get from social media is you get the fastest transaction for information, whether it's false or not, right? And then on top of that, you get the fastest responses, and it's almost like you get the fastest results on where everybody stands on those conversations and topics. Can't beat it, right?
Nah.
And so when you say confirmation bias, I feel like that's one of the biggest problems with media. Even though there's media out there and there's a whole lot of information that's false, or just like you said, wanting to be first instead of being right, you have a whole lot of people that want to form an opinion before even knowing if it's the truth because of confirmation bias.
And it's the currency. That's that social currency. That
Absolutely.
like, the currency of the day is getting the likes, getting the attention, getting the conversation between you and whomever it is, just even saying something to somebody to get a rile out of them and get a response. That's the social currency right now. It's not about before the and advertisers may have been the people who were had their hand in newspapers, basically kind of guiding where
Got in the direction of the
this
news.
newspaper,
Yeah.
where they stand on based on who was the owner of these media companies. Now it's not so much advertising because nobody's buying the newspapers. It's really getting the clicks. So how do we get the clicks? We get the attention. We put these headlines, and it's not really.
Clickbait.
Yeah, it's really not more. It's less about trying to deceive people. It's more about, we're gonna get the people to come and watch this and view it. But from our perspective, we're gonna view it as they're intentionally doing these things, and there are sources that are doing it, but more than not, it's really just that is what's driving it. It's
is great,
we're
yeah.
getting money because people are coming to view this information. So we're not gonna go and do this long form journalism where we're following a story for days in, weeks in, or months. We're now just coming with that. Whatever is the quickest
Hot
thing
topics.
that we can get
Everything
out there
is,
right now. That's
everything
what we're
is,
gonna do.
yeah,
and we're gonna
everything
say.
is hot topics.
Yeah. So it looks like from our end, like there's this huge conspiracy, and there are on higher levels. I can't deny that, but for the most part, that's just really the human behavior, is that we are driven on this social currency of attention, clicks, and likes, and more times than not, that's what's really all social media is. Even the local newspapers and news stations and stuff like that.
Yeah. Because
So,
everything is kind of like connected into a way where they want to funnel through whatever platform on social media, that they can get the attention, they can get the exposure and stuff like that. But like, again, I do think that the people consuming it is just as big of a problem, if not a bigger problem, with the information. Because if people didn't consume it the way that they do and believe it and run with it and then keep sharing it and keep making it a topic in a conversation, where would a lot of conversations that don't really matter be today?
who all right, that brings up a good question. Who would you deem more responsible, the person that is aware of the deception, or the person being deceived when they have free choice?
That's a hard one.
I mean, do you call that deception?
Yeah, because they know better. The media companies that are, no matter whether they're doing it just for clicks, they know better, because there's a standard. They were all went to school. And they learned the standard. So when there's a change in this, in they're gonna argue. A journalist in the editing room, there are people who are probably pushing back, like, bro, I don't want to write about this. We just wrote about this same thing. Why am I having to do, like, because whether or not they're getting a check, they want to write. That's the thing that they want to do. They want to go and investigate. They want to write. They want to find a cool story to write about. But when you're given this, like, forced into this kind of like tunnel vision view of what is journalism, then they're frustrated as well, I'm sure.
I think it could be equal responsibility to a certain degree, because you do have a responsibility. Like, for example, when we get on this microphone and we say, this is news about ... we need to be right. Other than that, we're just giving our opinions, right? So there is a responsibility with information, but people consuming it, there's a responsibility too, because when you go back to confirmation bias, it's almost like it doesn't matter what comes out this person's mouth. If I'm in alliance with them, I'm not going to disagree with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm loyal to the bond or connection, whatever we have, that I'm pretty sure. It's kind of like the Kanye West situation, the Ye situation, where fans will say that every single thing he said, there's a reason behind it, or you don't understand, you're misinterpreting.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Yeah.
But at the same time, is the guy telling some truths? Yes, he's
sprinkled a few things
he's
in there.
telling some truths, but that does not mean that everything that is being said, there's this bigger picture behind it, or there's this art form behind it, or whatever the case it is. That's just not
I'm
true.
blaming a person being deceived. I feel like they're making a choice to be deceived. How about that? They're making a choice to be deceived because you can fact check anybody. You can research anything. You don't have to accept what's being spoon fed to you. Do you blame Burger King or the person eating Burger King? They're not being deceived. They know what's good and what's bad for them. They're choosing to go there. They're choosing to deal with. They're choosing to, without doing any research, accept that as what it is. So, I mean, like, you
we
blame
all-
the drug dealer or the person smoking the drugs. I mean, like, bro.
We all ate Mickey D's faithfully until we
found out. But the whole thing about it is we chose to, right? And after you found out, if you continue to eat McDonald's, then you chose to. Okay.
So then it depends.
Ignorance is only ignorance for so long before it becomes stupidity. And in the age that we're in with all this information, ignorance only lasts a very, very, very short period of time. So after receiving certain information from certain outlets, after a certain point, you're like, you know what? Let me see if these niggas right. And if you choose not to, then you choose to remain ignorant. So it's no longer ignorance, it's stupidity. And that's your fault.
See, I can agree with that, but then I also made, I wouldn't say necessarily disagree, but there are people who are still stuck in their bubble to where they don't know any better.
And that's their fault. We're adults.
At some point, we could say it's someone's fault, but if you are not necessarily able to escape your bubble, whether your fault,
So we're just not going to hold people accountable.
Oh no! If you are aware of information,
everybody's aware of information. They know it's out there.
I think some people are in a bubble that they can't themselves escape. And what I mean by that is like
mental hospitals. We don't care about
some
them.
people don't have. Some people aren't as resourceful. So whether it's a fault of their own or not, some people just don't know any better until they know better. So I can agree with you for the people who have been exposed. Those who haven't been exposed, though, I can't necessarily place blame on whether they're an adult or not, because some people just can't escape that.
Why can't they escape it? What's going on? I need to know. What bubble you talking about?
I think that I think that is a good way to look at. I think a good way to look at it is kind of like, you take our parents, for example, right? Mm-hmm. And for the most part, apps like Facebook and stuff like that seem pretty user friendly. And then when they see something and the way they interpret it, we have to be like, nah. I do it with my mom all the time. Like, nah, mom, I know you've seen this article. And my mom, she does research and things like that. But the way that things are being planted for you to go down a rabbit hole to whatever it is somebody wants you to go down instead of where you think you're going, it can get very confusing for somebody that is not 100% familiar with the environment that they're in.
And that's because of like targeted ads and things of that nature, because of how you operate on internet just in general, right?
Like, I don't choose to click on booties and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's not
I
what
click
I'm
on
talking about.
something
That is
and an
just
ass pops up.
That is just
I don't want it.
Throughout Instagram, we can't do anything about that. That's just what it is. We can't change that. Bro, I look at shoes all day, okay?
Yep, and it'll be a thick female with her ass out with some fly ass forces on there.
Nah, that'd be basic. See, it's not even my style.
Team Jordan?
But nah.
Yo,
if I see another female wearing Team Jordan, bro, I'm gonna kick her.
What I'm saying though is like the target. So like you've been searching for something online, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then you decide to hop on social media, and then all of a sudden you see an ad for something that you were just shopping for. It might not be from the same place or
But
same
it's like,
brand.
yeah, they own you.
Like I was just shopping for canopy tents, and then I see APC canopies, and I'm like,
Yo, what happened? Hold on.
where they come from?
Your Google.
Hold on.
I'll tell you why about that just quickly. I figured it out kind of. When you're on your phone, you know how you get a new phone, you log into one of your email accounts for the phone, which is typically Gmail, and we're doing all of our searches on Google. So that's when you get your phone.
I search on Bing, so make it make sense.
Oh, you got Bing. You got which version?
The
You got
latest.
the 10.2.5.
I'm running it on Firefox.
Yo, we got real fast.
You got the new Mozilla Firefox. Which one?
That man said I go undetected.
No, but yeah, go ahead.
VPN and everything.
Proceed.
You know what I'm saying? Nah, but that's how it is. Like, a lot of stuff be targeted by the way we operate on social media.
Yeah.
And not even just on social media, but on the internet in general. You know what I'm saying? And it goes deeper than just your Google shit, which is crazy. Like, it's your like your habits in a sense on social media. I mean, not social media, on the internet.
Yeah.
And it'll reflect in social media as far as targeted ads and things that pop up that will grab your attention because we know they operate like this. So it will be more, you know what I'm saying?
Instagram does an amazing job of that, though. Can I just... I
Yo,
don't want
if
Instagram to stop doing what they're doing.
If you making money, cut us in.
No, because whatever they're advertising to me...
Y'all paying him?
I always am trying to pick that shit up. Like, there's always something, and it's a non popular brand, and it's always something
My
that
issue
I haven't
is-
searched for before.
My issue is if I see it on there and I'm intrigued by it, why is it never pops up again? Like, if you don't click on it when you see it, it's a wrap,
Bro,
And
when the page reloads,
and you forget the brand name. Oh my god!
You got to screenshot it hella fast, bro. You have to
know how
I
screenshot
literally
it.
had this conversation with Jelani
Because
last week.
like, look, you know how sometimes,
That
and
shit.
it happens, like, you open your phone, right, and you opened your phone for something else, but you might have an IG notification, so you'll open IG, right? You're like, I would probably go in here, and then you'll see something as you're clicking out,
Man,
and so you gotta click back in,
Nah.
and it's
Reload.
lost forever.
You be there talking about, baby, come back.
Bro, I went on Google, I was like, what did it look like? I was trying to type in.
And you want to know what's so crazy? There's so many brands on IG. You'll never find.
You'll never
on
find
the
it again.
search engine.
Nah.
You'll never find
You'll
it.
never
searching
find it
for 'em.
again, no.
And it'd be stuff
IG
like
don't got a
'cause it'd be-
search
It'd be
thing,
like
man.
.co. It ain't .com.
Instagram needs a history page. Bro.
It's
Yeah.
.co.
No, it doesn't need a history page. Never mind.
Yeah, I bet it doesn't.
Somebody
No,
actually do be
take
looking
his
up
phone.
sheets.
Because if it goes,
Take
not
his
for
phone
me.
and
Not
see
for me.
sexy tomatoes and lettuce.
Farm babes.
Farm Hub.
Oh my god.
She ain't wearing nothing but overalls.
Man. Farmhub.com, man.
Yeah. Don't do it.
Like how she holding that hoe.
Nah, another thing I wanted to add to the conversation was, do you I'm not gonna ask that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not gonna ask that question.
Here it comes, guys.
What I will say is, I do think that there is a responsibility. I do agree with both of y'all points, by the way. I'm just a little concerned if it's gonna get worse. You know what I'm saying?
It's not gonna get better.
Yeah. That's what my concern is, you know. Is it gonna get worse? You know, being a
get
dad
worse.
and, you know, as far as information, and I definitely can see like how our parents got got disconnected with the way information is being transferred compared to, because even like, for example, we can navigate Instagram pretty well, right?
Yeah.
I'm not really all that
TikTok.
on TikTok.
Nope.
I'm not all that on TikTok.
Cause I thought I was like, oh man, my son keep talking to me like I don't know how
on
to.
TikTok. I just don't care for
I don't go
social
on
media
there.
anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I hate social media. I mean, we do it for the reasons why we do it.
I think
But
it's
the
gonna
thing
be
about
too.
it is like with where I'm at now, like I'm kind of just I don't.
Yeah, I don't care for. I don't be on there, but I think two things are a possibility. That it will get worse because the only thing that I can think of that will come from in the short span of time would be regulation. And with regulation, there's going to be complaints, and people are going to dislike whatever the regulation is.
Yeah.
The other thing is, it's just going to there's going to become another form of connection. Where there's Elon Musk got his chip thing going. There's
He finna be broke because he got to buy Twitter. So
Oh, he bought.
he already bought
He
it.
bought that. He closed that.
oh,
Yeah, he walked in
this week
with
with
a
a
sink
sink.
in his hand. Let that sink in.
Yeah.
I retract my statement though, like where I said it's not gonna get better. I actually think it will get better, and I say that because one thing that I have noticed is like these younger bucks, not the young bucks, you know, these younger bucks seem to have a knack for acquiring information, doing research, things of
Yeah.
that nature, like actually
Really?
being learned. Yeah, I like, bro, you'll be surprised because it's like
What age are these kids?
18
And under.
and under.
18. I'd say
I wouldn't even
15
say
to 18.
I'll send you.
say,
I'm gonna send you this one cat on from TikTok, and he's cold.
These kids.
He's
a
cold.
lot of
like
a lot of these younger kids that are coming up, they're more about intellect and the actual knowledge of things. I'm not, like
they'll source shit. They'll break all the way. They'll break it all the way down.
and I feel like that's because a lot of information, like the more I feel like they talk about the information that's not being put out there, the history that's trying to be hidden and things like that, it seems like the younger bucks are going to search for that information. They're going to find the missing pieces and be a source to actually give out information.
Because I thought digging was over because a lot of the kids that I've dealt with, they don't know how to use the phone as a tool. They typically just use the applications on there.
And don't get me wrong, we're talking about the general,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
There are kids out there.
There
for
are
sure.
some, but I mean like some who are looking like to be in position that where others will follow suit
That's dope.
because of the way that they execute.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because they execute in a way where they challenge the status quo.
I like that though.
You see what I'm saying?
They definitely do
Yeah.
that.
You know, you see what I'm
do that
saying?
Way more.
And that's what I'm
do.
saying. Because of that, they're going
And
to
they
get the
got-
information to be in a position to challenge it because they don't agree with everything. They're not just accepting everything.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. You feel me?
That's
So and so in that instance, I do feel like at some point there will be a shift
That's
Oh
what I
yeah.
think. That's what I
and things will get better in that instance. So how long that might take?
Yeah, there's going to be a shift because it always happens, but that's why I'm thinking more of there's a shift because trying to change something that's already been in place and we have a system already in place for social media or Instagram.
Well,
and
see,
stuff.
in order for there to be a change that would take place now, people would have to break habits. Breaking habits means having discipline. Having
That's what I'm
discipline
saying.
means you wouldn't have to be aware, and you would have to want a change and be ready to implement it.
and
but
you're
people
trying to
are
fix
comfortable.
a broken that's trying to like keep fixing the car that's going to keep breaking down.
All of that is necessary, but these seats are going to get taken. That's what's going to happen, in my opinion.
What seats?
So when I went to private school, one of our elders by the name of Mr. Jones used to say, "Those seats aren't for you; they're for the future." Right?
Yeah.
So you got to look at like the people that are in all these positions. And I've heard it said in a really, really harsh manner as far as in the transition, the shift that you're talking about, where it's kind of like younger versus, the baby boomers and stuff like that. A lot of people, even in like political positions, business positions, a lot of these folks have been in these positions.
That's why there are so many old ass people still in these positions, because they are operating in fear. They know once they're out of that position, they're not just going to be
shift.
out of that position. They're going to be moved out of the picture, because the times and everything else has passed them by while they're still operating in this position, trying to operate in a way of a past. That's where
But
a lot of
that's what I mean.
and issues are coming from.
There has to be a new system, because the new kids and the new youth in human civilizations, there's no one willing to just say, hey, we're here now, let's keep living in the old system. They're going to create something new.
Well,
But those seats that he's talking about have to
those seats
to be
would be.
relinquished.
That's what I'm saying.
They have
The
to be
seats-
relinquished.
The seats
Well,
have
are
been.
there really seats in these positions? Because really, these kids have the opportunity to go and create their own. So there are people in certain seats, but what seats are we talking about?
The ones who
Okay.
make the laws.
So let's do it like let's do it like this.
What law is preventing them?
So
to
let's
stop,
so
you
let's
know?
do it like this. If we're gonna go down this road, so you have like Mark Zuckerberg, right? You even have like an Elon Musk, right? They're fairly on the younger end
Yeah.
than the people that I'm talking about. You even have a Jeff Bezos, right? You're on the younger end, right? Somewhat, right? But I would say younger than a Warren Buffett and all these other. But that's what I'm saying. Like people like Warren Buffett, there's people that are like in the like if you want to go the political route, these are people that are holding seats like 30, 40 fucking years and shit. You know what I'm saying? So from a political stance, that has to get all right, we gotta sweep that out. It's the same thing as far as for example, in the industry that I work, right? In the industry that I work, and this is a rare scenario too. I have a manager that's been there 45 years who did not want to be in the management position because he started out at the bottom like everybody else and understood how management works and all this other stuff. But take a person that's been there that long in a high position that don't have that mentality, don't want to give it up, don't want to teach nothing. There's hundreds of thousands of people, whether it's corporations, whether it's media, because you can tell that it's the same style, right? Nothing different. It's just, okay, well, now the jacket is green. When it comes to media, right, there's not all the facts, and it's always the hot takes, and it's, 90% negative, 10% positive. You know what I'm saying? So when you say what seats, it's the seats that's controlling a lot of things that we've just that our parents have seen, that we've seen. It's just like when we tell our parents something like, yeah, this happened, that happened. Like, yeah, I remember back in 63, or I remember back in 70 something, or I remember back in 80 something. Now we're at a point now where they're seeing just like they're seeing a shift in technology. And we've seen a shift in technology, but we've been able to adapt because we were at the beginning of it and still understood it very well. The same thing I think, and I believe is going to happen with holding a position for way too long.
Well, yeah, I'm not denying that whatsoever. No, I agree with that.
When you said what seats, like, well, the fact that we're talking about media, I think that that's what will
specifically,
happen.
we were talking about social media, and so that's what I meant when we're talking about social media. There will be a whole new something else that somebody can create. There were no regulations that were required to create Facebook necessarily that any one of us couldn't have gone and done.
Well, yeah, I mean, still to this day, like we can, if we want to go.
I'm sure they're not gonna necessarily they're gonna do things to probably prevent something, some industry becoming so powerful like Facebook did, because they're going to be afraid of how much power was given. But there's always going to be something that's going to be innovative that humans are going to create that will be a totally new system, which is what I'm agreeing with what you guys are saying.
Yeah.
What I'm saying right now is that I don't think there are many people in seats that can prevent this new system from being created.
It's not about preventing. It's about interrupting and slowing the process.
Well, but
Yeah.
how are they gonna know? This is no, I ain't. We're not talking about those type of people.
Yeah, we are.
No. I'm not talking about that.
They in seats, right?
They're not in seats that can prevent someone like Mark Zuckerberg from creating Facebook.
Okay, so
this is what I mean. Let me land. This is what I'm saying. Was there anyone in a seat that was able to that prevent hip hop from being created? Right. There was nobody. They didn't know what
Please
the fuck
use
was
another
going.
example.
No, this is what I mean. Listen to what I mean. There was no one. They didn't know what was going on once it.
They didn't know what was going on that was doing hip hop.
Yeah, and this is what I mean. The new system is whatever is going to be created is going to come out of that same type of form. No one's going to know what this is in the beginning stages of it, but once it gains legs, yeah, they're going to be able to put roadblocks up. But once it gains legs, it's going to become powerful, just like TikTok did. No one knew what the fuck TikTok was until it gained legs.
What happened to TikTok?
They tried to put roadblocks up.
No, they made them sell TikTok.
Yeah, but what is TikTok? Is it still here?
Yeah, that's still
my point.
here, but
It doesn't matter what I'm not talking about that there won't be roadblocks. I'm just saying once the new system is created, whatever it is, my perception of it would be that it's going to come from out of nothing, and it's going to gain legs, and whatever it is, no one's going to really know what it is until its final form, if you could say.
a lot of people know what it is. Like,
I mean,
I'll break it down like this. The reason why I say a lot of people know what it is because that's why there's people like chart analysts that are trusted and things like that, because they're looking at charts, they're looking at numbers, they're looking at, hey, nobody's paying attention to this. That's how people get rich every day. But what I'm saying is, when I say roadblocks, like, yeah, of course roadblocks will eventually move. The iceberg that sunk the Titanic probably eventually melted, right? But what I'm saying is, when we're talking about like the shift and the difficulties behind it, the adversities behind it, some of these things could have happened a long time ago. For example, when you were talking about Facebook and you wanted to land your plane, that was one of the best examples, because Zuckerberg's going through that right now with the metaverse, because it just lost like 10 billion. And the people that are involved and people that are in high positions are like, dude, just cut your losses. You know what I'm saying?
It's
that's kind of, and if you're following that stuff, things like metaverse, NFTs, that's considered what? Web3, right? And that's supposed to be the next thing that we can clearly see is coming, right? So we do see the things that are coming. There are roadblocks. The only difference in this type of roadblock situation is one side's going to be right. Either he's going to be right or either they're going to be right.
See,
you know what I mean?
I think you guys are talking on a grander scale, because when you showed the picture of the Supreme Court justices, them being here, that's changing.
That's an example.
That's an example.
What I'm saying on them. Them being here and them not being here changes this entire country. We're not just talking about social media when we're talking about them.
I wasn't just talking about social media. When I said the seats and intellect and the new wave and the shift.
But
I wasn't talking about social media. I was talking about overall. Period.
Yeah, that's
always
we're talking about. We're talking. All right. Then.
Yeah.
So
that's
talking about social media. Social media is a small scale, because when we're talking about news outlets, it's bigger than just social media.
So when you said your question about when I'm talking about the new system, I'm not talking about a new system of government or anything like that. I'm just talking about like
you're talking about
Instagram and like fucking
same rules apply though.
Yeah, there's always going to be people in seats.
Like when you think about
those seats have to be changed before progress can be made.
Yeah, but regardless of whether they have to be made or not, my point in saying what I was saying is that there will be a totally new system where the new kids aren't going to come and try to make Instagram their own and change it necessarily. There's going to be people who
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that there's not going to be roadblocks. There's not going to be people in seats who are going to need to be gone before a new system could come in. My thing is, the kids aren't going to go and say, hey, let's just change. Like, your kid, you may have a car that you kept up and that you loved. It was the coolest car when you bought it. And you tell your kid, when you turn 16, that's going to be your car. And they are all happy until they turn 16 and they don't want that fucking car. They want a whole nother car. That's my point, is that, yeah, the car is there and you're going to have to do what before you can go and get your own car? There's going to be roadblocks. You're going to have to get a job. You're going to have to fucking move out or whatever it is. There's going to be roadblocks. You still got this old car here.
License. I thought that was going to
No,
first thing you said.
that's not necessarily a roadblock.
It is. You need a license to drive.
No, I'm saying the roadblock in getting a new car. We're talking about the getting the.
I definitely understand the analogy.
The driver's license is the easier part. Nigga, getting the money to do it is a much more difficult task.
Tell somebody that done failed their driver's license 4 times. It's not a roadblock.
Because trust me, there's 16-year-olds that are driving without their licenses.
Oh yeah,
And there's 35-year-olds driving without their licenses.
hell yeah.
So it's not necessarily a roadblock. It's about getting what kind of car you want.
Yeah.
So my point is,
If you want to be legal, it's a roadblock.
I mean, depending on what kind of car you got, it might not. They might not pull your ass over, depending on the kind of car. But that's my whole point, is that the new system is gonna be created by the youth. They're not gonna want to keep Instagram as their own and try to fix it up. Is what I'm saying. They're gonna create a whole new thing. And so that's my confidence, is that there will be a whole new system being created. This system will, I agree with what you said about it potentially getting better, but my idea is that there's going to be more regulations, and we're just
see that, okay. And that was my point. When you say more regulations, I feel like from what I've seen, those regulations are coming from people in those seats, right?
Yeah.
For example,
because they're trying to hold on.
like for example, like cryptocurrency. A lot of those folks are afraid of it, so they're trying to regulate this and that and this, that, and the other, and this is considered a security. You see what I'm saying?
And they want to hold on to their own system.
Right, and so as that fizzles out, right, and as they fizzle out and this stuff, because there's a lot of things like the different social medias, the different like crypto and NFTs and all of this different stuff that a lot of people are not understanding or not paying attention to. It's like the door is like getting pushed off the hinges, and on the other side you got all these people in these seats like, fight, whatever, and it is a powerful thing because it don't take many of them to keep that door from busting open. But you know, we can keep going down the rabbit hole. Yeah.
Very true. Very true. Very true.
Yeah. But anyways, I don't care what y'all talking about. My son gonna drive what the hell I tell him to drive. All right, so it is what it is.
Bro, I wanted that Toyota MR2, man, for so many years. Then when I got it, I was like, man, if I don't get this Back to the Future looking car.
Anyways, man. What happened? This your boy, Dizzy D Spill. You've been tuning into the Notion Podcast. Here with my co-host in the building,
Jelani Evans.
Farmer Poe.
And we appreciate y'all tuning in. You already know what to do. Like, subscribe on the YouTube page. However you're listening, make sure you following up and keeping up with the episodes. And I know there's some episodes y'all haven't been watching or listening to, so y'all can catch up on that. All right? Follow us on the TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. It'll all be around in 15, 20 years. I don't care what Poe talking about. All right? Until next time, peace.